All right, guys, I know it's been a long time since our last update. Actually, it's been really close to about a year and a half, which is crazy, I know, and apologies for not having an update sooner. But tragically, the tank crashed, and it wasn't due to the KP rock, it wasn't due to any water chemistry, and it wasn't due to any of the custom plumbing. What happened was, we eventually got the tank up and running with the KP Live Rock as shown in the last few videos that were posted on this channel. It proved to be a really cool rock to start with. We found some really cool live organisms on it when it came in, including the mantis shrimp, which we did a video about, and we ended up giving it to somebody locally through a Facebook group. But anyway, as we got the tank set up and fully cycled, we started adding fish. Everything was going great. I mean, this was our third saltwater aquarium, and while we're not pros, we definitely have experience and we've run successful tanks in the past. Once everything was stabilized and the tank seemed to be fully cycled, we slowly started adding more fish, and it got to the point where I believe we had 6 or 7 fish total, and we had an anemone, which was doing great. We had just started to add coral, and I think we were doing softies only at that point, with the plan to start adding LPS and SPS. Now, some of these images and videos are going to be repetitive because I'm just trying to show you everything we captured before the tank was taken down. But what happened was, the community that we lived in, we were on the first floor. While it was great because we could do an aquarium at pretty much any weight, unfortunately, it also meant that we were close to the landscaping. We left one of our windows cracked so that the pH swings wouldn't be as severe and so that the tank could get some fresh air. And as it turns out, our community went ahead and did some landscaping that used some pretty heavy pesticides and herbicides. And unfortunately, those were drawn into the tank through basically the window being open. We had no idea that they were doing this outside. They never posted anything or told the HOA anything. It basically was just something that they did, I guess, as routine landscaping maintenance. But anyway, later that night, all of the fish started to die. And the next morning as well, I mean, it was just absolutely tragic. It was crazy because they all just started to kind of sink to the bottom, and they were alive, but almost like paralyzed. I don't even know how to better describe it. They were literally just sitting on the bottom. They could still look around, like we could see their eyes moving and kind of like light breathing. But they couldn't swim, they couldn't move, and we tried to do everything. We were calling all of our local fish stores, trying to figure out what could be causing it. And before we could get any answers, all the fish perished. It was really hard to stomach, and honestly, it was pretty morale killing. I mean, we didn't even want to restart the tank after that. We had the tank drained. We didn't want to give away any of the live rock because we weren't sure if that was contaminated with the chemicals. So we ended up just trashing all of that. So huge expenditure, completely wasted, and unfortunately lost the lives of a lot of organisms. So it was just a really tragic way for the tank to crash, and that was only about 2.5 to 3 months in. So we ended up selling off the tank and selling off most of the equipment, and then we ended up moving. And now we're in our new place. Unfortunately, it's not on the first level, so we're not going to be able to do a big tank like the 350. But we ended up buying a Reefer 170 Generation 2, and we're really excited because, truthfully, up until now, we were kind of just holding off on restarting the tank or even getting back into the hobby just with what happened last year. But this time around, I think what we're going to do is try and go for a really low maintenance tank. And we have some ideas on how to achieve that. In fact, one of our older tanks when we lived at 2 houses ago was a really low maintenance tank. And I mean, so low maintenance that we weren't even dosing. I'll touch more on this in the future and how we did it. But it was a really successful tank. We had a bunch of coral, had a bunch of fish, and it ran really great. And the only reason why we took it down was because we moved. So anyway, we're really excited because the new G2 Reefers have a removable sump. And I shouldn't say removable sump, but basically it's an adjustable sump where you can add a filter roller mat and skimmer and some other cool equipment that Red Sea's come out with lately. So we're really looking forward to setting that all up. It's going to be on the main level of our new place, right in the living room. And the goal is going to be to make it ocean specific. So rather than have a bunch of colorful corals, we're going to try and make it look like a specific region in the world. And I think we're actually aiming for the Red Sea. So there'll be a lot of purples and kind of deep blues. And we're going to try and pick the corals to mimic that. So should be really interesting. If you want to follow along, we're going to start trying to post more videos and pick things back up on this channel. But I just wanted to let you guys know where everything stood and, you know, the tragedy that unfolded last year. So hopefully more to come soon. We're really excited to get it going again. And thank you to everybody who has subscribed and followed along so far. We'll see you next video.